Good afternoon and welcome to the Triangle Tribune Business Spotlight. My name is Linda Johnson. Along with me, I have Anita Best of the Triangle Tribune, and we would like to thank you for tuning in this afternoon, and maybe it might even be evening. I'd like to share with you a little bit about who we are. The Charlotte Post Publishing Company is the leading African American publication serving the Charlotte Post and the Triangle Tribune newspaper, weekly newspapers serving Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and Cary, North Carolina. We are minority owned and operated, have served as a dominant force in educating, empowering, enlightening African American communities throughout 8-county coverage area, North Carolina, and upstate South Carolina since 1878. We've been around a while. We are a multimedia company. What does that mean? We do digital, events, newsletter, newspaper, e-edition, and print. Yes, there's still print papers, and we are distributing them each week. Social media, please like us on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcasts, and webinars such as this. We are award of excellent organization and known across the states. Today we have with us our business spotlight. And at this time here, I'm going to turn it over to Benita Best. Benita?
Hello, everyone. We have two special guests with us tonight to talk about nonprofits in the age of Trump. And today there was a lot of news out today on Tuesday about some things that have happened, so this couldn't come at a better time. First person with us is Bettie Murchison. I told Bettie that no grass grows under her feet because she is everywhere. There's not too many people in the Triangle area, probably in North Carolina, that doesn't know Bettie Edwards Murchison. And so she's going to be here to talk along with Vince Bayyan. He owns the Ace Center in Knightdale. It's a wonderful event marketing place. You can have events. Our church had one of the first events there. And Vince is going to talk about Level Next Training and Life Coach Institute. So the two are going to talk about different things for nonprofits. And one thing Vince said that I really liked, he said there is no such thing as a nonprofit. We're all out here to earn profits. So Vince, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to thank both you, Benita, and Linda for the opportunity. And I want to thank Bettie as well, you know, my partner here. Yeah. Definitely. I've known Bettie for a long time. Yeah. And so, you know, in the climate of the times and given the background and experience that both Bettie and I have, we came together and we really thought that there is an urgent call for action, particularly for small nonprofit organizations, to come together and talk about what it means to exist in the era of Trump. There's a lot that's happened. There's a lot that's happened even today that's going to affect a lot of the nonprofit organizations that serve our communities, and a lot of those nonprofit organizations that are made up of folks of color, Black folks that look like us. And so we have to come up with a strategy to navigate all that is happening in the community and in the world today.
Indeed. Indeed. I echo what Vince said. Thank you, Triangle Tribune and Linda and Benita, for inviting us to come out and share our goal for this workshop. Vince and I both are experienced trainers, and we're also researchers. We've been looking at this and studying this, and I've been on webinars. I've been reading a lot of articles to be prepared to discuss how will we get through this crisis. We're in the middle of a crisis.
Yes.
And it's only going to get worse. So those of us in leadership positions, we have to step forward and help educate the public and help hopefully come up with strategies that will help us all survive this.
Yes.
I
definitely.
know one thing you said, that tell people don't panic. I know that's easier said than done when you thinking things are getting frozen. You may affect your payroll, your supplies,
Mhm.
your vendors, but
Mhm.
panicking is not going to help the
No,
situation.
no,
Exactly.
Talk more
no,
about, you know, you got to take a break and start strategizing of what you're going to do.
that's right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There are, you know, one of the things that we're saying about this particular workshop is that we're going to recognize that there are a lot of challenges that we
Yeah.
face that's ahead of us,
Mhm.
but also there are a whole lot of opportunities.
Mhm.
There are a
Mhm.
whole lot of opportunities, and
Mhm.
we've got to begin to just shift mentally
Mhm.
about how we see and identify those opportunities.
Mhm.
It's going to require us to think a lot different, not just a little, but a
Right.
lot different than what we have in the past.
Right.
But the reality of it is that the work still needs to be done. There's still those folks that, oh, thank you, Audra. There's still those organizations that will need to service the communities
Step to the front.
and the constituents
Yes.
that they have service and that will continue to service. The work is not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. The need is even greater now. I was just on a call earlier today with Wake County, talking about mental health, the mental health of our community, and how are we best serving those folks. And I think about especially our Latino population. I saw on the news the other night that many children are afraid to go to school because they're not sure their parents will be there when they get back. That's an awful, awful burden on our children. And there are a lot of immigrant children. The Latinos are not the only immigrant children in this country. And so we really got to look at that. Meanwhile, I got a email today from United Way of the Triangle. They have a commitment to racial justice and they have funds available. They have 4 different funds available. So I'll be going over that with the people who attend the workshop, so they understand there's still companies who are taking a stand and making sure that racial equity is at the core of what they do and what they offer, and helping people find these resources is important.
Yes.
And who
Yeah.
should talk about who should attend the workshop?
Yeah, so anyone who right now has a what we call a small nonprofit
Mhm.
organization. You know, there's those large organizations like the United Way and
Red
Red
Cross,
Cross.
Goodwill.
Yeah, no. So the funds, you know, their funding is going to be impacted,
Mhm.
but not at the same level
No,
that some of our smaller nonprofits,
Right.
some of our more what I call grassroots
Mhm.
in the trenches organizations.
Right.
And those organizations too, there's some individuals who are thinking about launching
Yes.
a nonprofit. And we want to have a very real conversation that says, well, do you need to launch
Mhm.
an organization, or do you
Mhm.
need to just
Mhm.
partner and support
Mhm.
someone else who's already doing the work?
Exactly.
Okay. Because, you know, let's face it, folks launch nonprofits
Yeah.
all the time. And a
Yeah.
lot of the percentage of nonprofit organizations that fail
Mhm.
is incredible.
Yeah.
And so again, we have to think differently. You know, the passion is always there. The passion is always good. That's a good thing. But sometimes it's about partnering
And mergers.
and mergers. Yeah.
People, nonprofits can do the same thing that for-profits do. We've seen recently several large for-profit grocery chains wanting to merge, but nonprofits can merge. If you serve a similar clientele, it may be that you're safer joining together rather than going separate. I've got one client who just recently did that. They merged with another smaller nonprofit. And meanwhile, the work goes on.
Right.
If you're not driven by ego, there's so many more options that are on the table.
Right. Exactly. We want to urge our fraternities and sororities to come out,
Yes.
the local chapters,
Churches.
the churches to come out.
Yeah.
You know, definitely, because again, the conversation, there's going to be something for each of those organizations. Local Masonic organizations to come out.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this together. And everybody's going to be impacted that's trying to do the good work.
And when you look at when you use asset mapping and you look at what assets are in the community, churches have one of the largest assets of anyone. They have buildings, they have fellowship halls. Some of them have buses that they can drive people in. Remember during the Montgomery
Bus boycott.
bus
Yeah.
boycott.
Mhm.
People with trucks would load people up in their trucks, drive them to work, come back and pick them up. And so that was an asset. Masonic halls, most of those have a building that you offer after school tutoring in there, and they let you use it free instead of you paying rent somewhere.
That's right.
So we want to help people change their paradigm and think outside of the me, mine mindset that we have slipped into. We've got to think community.
Yeah, no doubt. This is indeed what I call a circle the wagon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's interesting that because this Black History Month that 2025 that we're going into has to be a little bit different, has to be a lot different. You know, we have to be aware of the times. We have to be aware of everything that's happening because we're all going to be impacted.
We are. I had a conversation with my children in December around the holidays, and about we all are independent. We're all entrepreneurs. So and we're all in different sectors. So I sat down and had a conversation with them about what protections are you putting in place to protect your assets, your income. What does it look like? Do I need to clean out a closet, clean out a room? Is there a chance that somebody needs to come back home? My children will always be welcome home, but preparing for that, if it comes to that, we will survive. You know what I'm saying? It's just about preparation and thinking it through and looking at what options are available.
And Betty, you said if people need to register, it'd be helpful than just showing up because you're going to have workbooks for them.
Yes.
Okay. Let them know that if they don't register, they might not get the information.
That's right.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we have enough materials because they'll leave here with something in their hand.
That's right.
And at this time, just to let folks know, our workshop is happening Saturday, February 8th, here at the A Center in Knightdale, 7027 Knightdale Boulevard in Knightdale, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
That's right.
If folks want to, they can reach out and give me a call at 919-348-1991, 1991. And that's February 8th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is an urgent call to action.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
Linda? Linda, you on mute.
As we said, you heard some great information. Come out and support this community initiative here on health and wellness for nonprofits. It's happening Saturday, February 8th from 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock. Go ahead and take your phone and take a screenshot. You can use this QR code to get all additional information. And we would love to see you here. And this is an open, wide community event, and let's make a difference with one another. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you. And thank you for taking the time out to listen to the Triangle Tribune Business Spotlight, because we care about our community. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.